Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to code and play around with some voids. You might have already come across this term as this is what Craig Reynolds called the entities in his flocking simulation proposed way back in 1986. I have been messing around with collision avoidance recently and I simply could not resist realizing voids. If you are new to dots and would want to get your hands dirty, then start by realizing voids as they are quite fascinating and fairly easy to understand. The flocking behavior is based on three simple rules: separation, alignment, and cohesion. If you wish to implement by yourself, then you can stop watching now and go through the voids paper from Craig Reynolds to understand more. There is a link in the description down below. You may also implement the monobehavior version of flocking before translating it to the dots version. Okay. This video is titled Simple because all we are trying to do here is to get the simulation working before doing anything else. With that said, this may not be the most optimized version or the only way to implement flocking simulation. Let's deform a cube to look like a void, or what qualifies to look like a void, by moving the edges and vertices using ProBuilder. We will export this model as an OBJ using export option and use it as a mesh to spawn our voids. We are just going to have three scripts: an entity spawner to spawn voids, component data to hold the properties of void itself, and the voids movement system. The voids component data will hold bias values for cohesion, separation, and alignment. There will also be a target bias towards a target so voids don't get lost, which is completely optional. Apart from the obvious, we need the current position of given void, step value to interpolate while applying velocity, and cell size, which we will get back to in a bit. We will need some of this voids property exposed in the editor so we can play around. I prefer the same instantiation pattern to carry out monobehavior spawning or instantiation of entities, as it is easier to spawn a bunch of entities at a regular interval. The same thing can also be done using command buffer in a system. Let's assign all the values to every void. Note that we should not be holding repetitive data that stays constant throughout the gameplay in every entity. I am doing this for simplicity purpose. Ideally, we have to hold this kind of data in something called blob asset store, which allows faster and safer access of constants from multiple threads. So all we are doing here is framing an entity archetype and instantiating it using Entity Manager. We are then counting the spawned entities or voids towards the specified total number of voids we intend to spawn. Since we have come this far, I am going to reveal a spoiler. Every void has to check all other voids to figure which voids are close. We have to calculate distance against every other void and then decide on which is the closest or within a certain distance threshold. This is highly inefficient, so we need to have some kind of spatial partitioning. We are going to hash a key pertaining to a location of a void just like we did in the collision avoidance video a while ago, but only this time in 3D considering all three coordinates. We can control the cell size from the editor as every void has the same cell size information. We have to first populate the hash key and then corresponding void with its current position. This will be done every frame, so a cell will be registered if a void enters uncharted territory. We can now iterate over all the voids belonging to the same cell as that of any given void to calculate separation, alignment, and cohesion values. We are also going to multiply these calculated forces with corresponding bias values, so we can individually control how much these three elements affect our voids. Finally, we are going to add all the forces, scale it up to specified speed value to get the acceleration, which can now be applied to position of void over time as velocity. We will set the acceleration towards the default target, which we can specify from the editor, also with the bias value. This is optional, but it just makes sure no void escapes completely from the flocking system. You can think of this as a small gravity well. Let's just provide only the separation value to visualize the cells. This is what our native multi-hash map structure looks like. This is one of the basic spatial separation method, and there are many other ways too. I said the system is not fully optimized because if a given cell has more voids at any one point, the frame rate drops, which makes sense as alignment, separation, and cohesion have to be calculated for all the voids in the same cell. This can be reduced by having smaller cell size, but we cannot get a nice blocking behavior. This may sound like a classic catch-22, but there are many optimization algorithms out there, and we have many ways to arrange the data and execute our code. We also have so many variables to play with, and last but certainly not the least, the type of practical behavior we intend to achieve with these voids. I just realized that I had spent more time on this than I spent playing Division 2 this week. Not to code, but to just play around with values and get various behaviors working, thinking how it would look with actual bees or birds mesh. I have to optimize this anyway to make room for other flavors. This code is available on GitHub, and I guess there is a lot to do here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have fun.